Praise God, folks. This is old Truth Speaker once again, coming to you with some more news from the political world, being that this is the most important election in the last 4 years for the President of the United States, as you all are very aware of. And it's strange, and I like to start off before I get into the meat of the video. Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are attacking Hillary Clinton. And I would just like to say that, to be quick about this, I just want to, it's not a long video. Donald Trump called Hillary a liar and said she is the worst Secretary of State in the history of the United States of America. and the name of this video is Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump attack Hillary Clinton's, shall we say, record as Secretary of State. Call her the worst in history. Now, I'll abbreviate that title. I know it's a little long. I'll put it out like this. It's not going to be a very long video. Donald Trump, when he was asked by a reporter on NBC, he said, I'll repeat, that Hillary Clinton was the worst Secretary of State in the history of America. And he said there has never been a Secretary of State as bad as Hillary Clinton. Said the world literally blew up around her. In other words, she's a walking lie, her and her husband. Not one of them in Donald Trump's side has worked. Well, you get the idea. He said we lost everything under Hillary Clinton as being the Secretary of State, even our relationships. This is what Donald Trump is saying about Hillary Clinton. And look, a lot of the things this man is saying are 100% correct. I'm not saying it. Donald Trump is. And I didn't even get to what Bernie Sanders said. Trump said on NBC, when he was asked, do you think Hillary Clinton would make a good president? He said she was a lousy Secretary of State. How in the world could she make a good president? She was the worst Secretary of State in the history of America. That's pretty blatant remarks. Especially since she's been accused of, well, I'll put it like this, the Benghazi situation. But anyway, Hillary Clinton is not very well liked. I mean, even though they went to Donald Trump, one of his weddings or something like this. But anyway, Trump, let me tell you, Donald Trump is no one to try to sling mud at if you don't know what you're doing. If you're not used to that type of approach, you just can't match wits with Donald Trump in the, shall we say, political gutter. This is quite amusing. There's never been a race like this before. But he said it was the worst time ever as Hillary Clinton as the Secretary of State, as quoted by Donald Trump. He just called her the absolute worst. Now, Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont, Bernie Sanders said, Mr. Sanders said, Clinton was wrong to oppose his plan to reinstitute the Glass-Steagall Act, which would, it would be legal to separate commercial banking, investment banking, and insurance services. As it is, ladies and gentlemen, we are literally at the mercy of big business and special interest groups. This is what Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders is actually saying. He also said, Mr. Sanders said that Miss Clinton has made hundreds of thousands of dollars speaking to banks and large corporations over the years. They're banking her, don't you? They're backing her. Don't you understand? The same big business and special interest groups that Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, even Donald Trump has been telling you over and over again. They own Hillary Clinton. Well, I'll put it this way. She's part of their pact. I mean, it's somewhat ironic, don't you think? She's standing up for civil rights. Oh my goodness. And you know, quite naturally, African Americans are going to vote for her. Look what she's done. I mean, she stood in 100% agreement with her husband when he signed the NAFTA trade agreement, which sent tens of thousands of jobs overseas, lost millions of unemployment. It sent millions of people on the unemployment line. I'm sorry. It sent millions of people on the unemployment line. And he signed a bill, the war on drugs. Even his own aide said, Mr. Clinton, you're going to lock up extremely large amount of African Americans and immigrants. And he apologized for it just this year. After all, everybody told him, Mr. Clinton, you're just a little too late. He single-handedly called the gentrification of Harlem when he said, I'm going to put up an office building there. The rest is history. Rents, mortgages skyrocketed in Harlem. Thus, the mass exodus of African Americans everywhere else where there are absolutely no jobs at all. Well, and Mr. Clinton, I'm sorry I did that. Just because Hillary Clinton is running for office now. I mean, I got to tell you, you know, it is a disgrace. They have turned America into an oligarchy. Do you understand? The United States of America is a business. Bernie Sanders just said that the very billionaires, the Wall Street executives that have caused the destruction of the American economy have not spent one day in jail, yet they've spent hundreds of billions of dollars in fines. And he just told us to reporters, and one reporter asked him, well, how are they guilty? He said, Bernie Sanders said, I quote, how can somebody be fined and paid hundreds of billions of dollars for sinking the American economy unless they're guilty? Yet, nobody's come forward. See, the law is for the middle class and poor, not for billionaires. They got away from sinking the economy, and they're getting the Wall Street CEOs are raking in tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of dollars in bonuses. Bernie Sanders just said, check it out. Yet people want to vote for, and Hillary Clinton is a part of that. Don't you understand? He said Hillary Clinton has transformed the American economy into you know what it is, what we are now? An economic opportunity for billionaires while the middle class is being wiped out. This is what Bernie Sanders is saying. This is basically what Donald Trump is saying. This is what Elizabeth Warren is saying. The United States exists solely on credit. Don't you understand that? We're in the pockets of big business and special interest groups, and you're voting for people that have... I tell you, just keep voting for Hillary Clinton. At least Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders are telling you the truth. You can't buy Donald Trump, and you can't buy Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton is just outright lying. Yet our one person asked, several people have asked me, well, why do everybody, all African Americans like to vote for the Clintons? Because they love the Clintons. Once you get a few pastors and reverends to vote, that's it. I mean, that's 97% of the African American vote. Nobody do any research into these characters or people. Nobody asks any questions, and don't let a few self-appointed civil rights leaders vote for these, endorse one of these clowns. That's it. I mean, you know, I'm not telling you who to vote for because I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I do research into a candidate who I feel is better for the United States of America and for the middle class as well as the poor and everyone else. That's one thing, but voting for somebody because somebody else tell you to, history proves that's a joke. I told you before and I'll tell you again, most politicians are as full of crap as a constipated elephant. Folks, we need prayer. Pray for America and pray for these leaders and pray that the people get direction to vote for the right candidates, because they're all career politicians. And I tell you before, politicians are as full of crap as a constipated elephant, regardless of whatever party that they're affiliated with. Pray, folks. Pray for our country and have a happy new year. We're really going to need it.